It's alive! It's alive!
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Quick video for you guys talking about the new champions that just got announced about an hour ago from the time of this recording. It looks like we might have a new best champion in the game. Let's see if you guys agree with me. And unfortunately, no, it is not the Fusion champion. So it's going to be an old school Fusion coming up here, guys. And these are going to be some of the champions that are involved in that Fusion as well. The prize for that Fusion is going to be Underpriest Brogni. We talked about him in a previous video, but let's go ahead and go over his entire kit. Along with the other new champions, let me know again. Well, I'm just going to tell you guys who I think is the most OP champion ever added to the game. And you guys can let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with me. But Underpriest, on his A1, attacks one enemy with the HP burn. HP burns at 60%, so not too bad. On his A2, it's an AoE attack, has a 100% chance when booked of removing one random buff from all enemies. Also has a 100% chance when booked of removing one random debuff from all allies. Increases the value of shield buffs on all allies by 30% of the damage inflicted. So a shield improver. I guess if you have two shield champions on the team, it makes a lot of sense. Do you think that that is a game-changing ability if you only have Brogni as your only shield champion on the team? I think it's pretty cool, though, because even if you have like a shield set, artifact set champion on your team, you go in with the A2 and boom, you immediately get a little bit more bang for your buck. However, it's still not extending the shield. It's just making it stronger, adding a little bit of value to the shield. So, you know, that necessitates actually having the shield up, making sure an enemy team doesn't go, or a boss, you know, doing damage to the shield anyway. So on his A3, it places a block debuff buff and a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. Also places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns, equal to 30% of this champion's max HP. The shield cannot be removed. That is on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. I like that it can't be removed as well. Block debuffs and increased attack for 2 turns is actually really good on a 3-turn cooldown. So I think that this Resilient Glow plus the Cavern's Grasp makes this champion very, very special for a fusion worth going for. And there's more. Whenever an ally under a shield, this is his passive buff, is attacked, it reflects 25% of the damage inflicted on the shield back to the attacker. Also heals that ally by 25% of the damage inflicted to the shield. If there are multiple champions in the team with this skill, only one will activate. Then it has a Doom Tower resistance aura. So I think that Stonewall is actually really solid as well, guys. Let me know what you think. But again, it's reflecting 25% of the damage inflicted back to the attacker, which, think about it here, is way better than just reflect, you know, the buff, because it's going to make your shield, again, stay on longer, stay alive longer, because the shield is not taking that damage, it is reflecting it back. So he's all about support with block debuffs, increase attack, and then the shield, and then the extending the HP of the shield. So I really like this champion. I think he's unique, and I think he's a really, really cool fusion. I, again, am going to go for him. But here we go, guys. RIHO BONESPEAR. I think she is god-like. Now, she is a Void Legendary support-type champion from the new Shadowkin faction on her A1. Her A1 already starts out good. Attack one enemy. It places a big version of continuous heal buff on the ally with the lowest HP for 1 turn. Also places a 7.5 continuous heal buff on all allies with 30% HP or less for 1 turn. A nice healing, nice kind of AoE heal, soft AoE heal on the A1. On the A2, here we go. It's starting to get good, guys. Pressure points. Places a stun debuff on the target enemy for 1 turn, as well as an HP burn debuff, as well as a decreased defense debuff, as well as a weaken debuff, as well as a decreased attack debuff, as well as a decreased crit rate debuff, and then attacks the target. So that all lasts for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. So it's not an AoE, but it is definitely the best single target debuff ability inside the game. But then Perfect Body, it gets even way better, the kit. So you're bringing all of these best debuffs in the game to the table, right? And then we're going, or some of the best debuffs in the game. And then we're going to removes all debuffs from all allies. This is on a 3-turn cooldown. And then places a block debuffs on them for 2 turns. Also, heals all allies by 35% of their max HP and by a further 5% for each debuff removed from them. So we're getting a massive heal on a 3-turn cooldown. We're getting a full cleanse on a 3-turn cooldown. And then we're getting block debuffs for 2 turns every 3 turns with this champion. What? What? That is really sick. When receiving any debuffs, look at this passive. Look at this passive. When receiving any debuffs, instantly transfers them from this champion to the attacker. All right, will not transfer debuffs that cannot be removed. So we've got heals, we've got a stun, single target 3-turn cooldown. We've got all of these debuffs. Weaken, decrease defense, HP burn, decrease attack, decrease crit rate. And then we have the full cleanse, the block debuffs, the AoE heal, and then the automatic passive debuff transfer every 3 turns to the enemy. Wow. I think this champion is really incredible. What do you guys think? I think she's really, really good. Power creep is real, ladies and gentlemen. FENSHI is a rare, an epic force attack Shadowkin champion. Hate Blades A1 attacks 1 enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 30% chance of placing a decreased speed debuff. Okay, that can be booked up to 40%. Nowhere to Run attacks 1 enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 75% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%. That is on a 2-turn cooldown when booked. By the way, guys, hate to say it, this is my, feel like this is becoming a reoccurring segment here on the channel. But, yeah, a lot of books on these champions, huh? A lot of books. All right, so 2-turn cooldown, 3-hitter. Okay, 3-hitter on the A1, okay. Let's put this champion in Giant Slayer. Getting a lot of hits off. We don't know the multiplier, so I can't tell you that, but that's to me going to be the justification on this champion, whether or not he justifies being built out. Because if the multipliers aren't that great, even with a triple hitter, turn meter decrease, and then a attack 1 enemy 2 times, each hit has a 5%, or excuse me, each hit places a 5% poison on the target for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. So 2 guaranteed poisons will ignore 10% of each of the target's defense for each poison debuff on the target. So it's weird. I mean, you almost think, okay, clan boss because of the poison on a 3-turn cooldown with the ignore defense, but then the rest of the kit is all about turn meter and decreased speed, which is irrelevant for the clan boss. So I don't know. To me, not too excited about FENSHI. Let me know why I'm wrong. And look at all these books you're going to have to pay to get this dude. Not that exciting to me. This guy, though, is pretty exciting, okay? They didn't make a change on him. They preemptively nerfed him. I still think, I'm going to disagree with the majority, I think, on this one. I still think he's going to be a really good champion. But I do see, like, in our content creator chat, a lot of people saying that he's going to be just crap now because of the nerf. This is the version that we're going to get, I think, of this dude. I'll tell you what it used to be. It used to be Lion's Roar, I believe, was on a 2-turn cooldown instead of a 3 when booked. But let's just go ahead and read through the kit, and let's see what you guys think. Epic Spirit Bannerlord Defense Champion. I think it's kind of one of those psychological things that when you know he was nerfed, you're like, oh, wow, so this is the crappy version, huh? But I still think is pretty good. Decreased attack on the A1. On the A2, it's an AoE provoke. We have a 75% chance of placing a provoke on a 3-turn cooldown. Already not bad. I want to see the speed on this champion too. Also places a shield buff on this champion equal to 25% of their max HP for 2 turns. Okay, help him stay alive. Field of Strength. Places a 60% increased defense buff and a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns. That's on a 3-turn cooldown. So Field of Strength, I think, is an incredible ability. He's what? Am I right in saying he's only the 3rd? I can't be right in this. He's not just only the 3rd increased defense champion, epic champion on a 3-turn cooldown. There's probably like 100 of them, but all I can think of that comes to mind is Thenasil and Mausoleum Mage. I'm sure there's a bunch that I'm forgetting. Either way, having an increased attack and increased defense for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown already is good, is really good, right? And then he has the AoE provoke, 75%. He has the decreased attack on his A1, and then his passive fills his champion's turn meter by 15% whenever they are attacked by an enemy under provoke or increase attack debuffs, excuse me. So pretty cool that it has the increased attack buffs as well. Yeah, like overall, I really think this guy is good. I think he's really good, even with the changes. Let me know if you're excited about this dude, if you think I'm crazy. So next up is going to be a Void Epic Attack Demon Spawn champion. It is SKIMFOS the Consumed. SKIMFOS the Consumed. Oh, this guy's name, by the way, I'm kind of scared to say it, is Gizcard the Sigiled. SKIMFOS the Consumed. On his A1, attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 35% chance, make it 50 when booked, or 45 when booked, of placing a decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. The second hit has a 35% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 10%. I'm sorry, the first hit decreased speed, second decreased turn meter. All right. Clutch of Woe, the A2, attacks all enemies, has a 100% chance of placing a decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. After attacking, transfers all debuffs except for stun, freeze, sleep, fear, true fear, and provoke from all allies to this champion. Interesting. So attacks all enemies, has the decreased attack. After attacking, transfers all the debuffs from your whole team, excluding these, from all allies to this champion on a 3-turn cooldown on an AoE attack. That's very interesting because of Cursebearer, his A3. Transfers all debuffs from this champion to a target enemy, then attacks the target. Steals 100% of the target's turn meter if this attack is critical, kind of like Siphon ability Man-Eater's A2 on a 3-turn cooldown. This is a very good ability, very interesting kit. We talk about this here all the time on the channel. But man, they still find a way to make these new champions unique, even after 500 plus being added to the game. This guy seems, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my god, he's broken, he's OP, he's unbelievable, but he's unique, and it seems like he could have some real potential in this game. You know, and he adds a level of a strategic component that we don't have right now. He's soaking up all of the debuffs from your entire team and boom, transfers them all to an enemy. I like that. And again, that's on an AoE attack too, the you know, the debuff, the initial transfer. I hope the AI is fixed so it starts with, you know, it does the appropriate thing depending on how many debuffs are on him and in your allies, you know. Here's to hoping on that one, right? Still a lot of books on this guy though. Heals his champion by 5% of their max HP for each debuff on them at the start of each turn. That's helpful. He's gonna have a lot of debuffs on him, right? If this champion is under 4 or more debuffs at the start of the turn, places an increased attack and an increased crit damage buff on this champion for 2 turns. Alright, ally attack and Doom Tower by 30%. So I think all in all, I really want to try this guy. I really want to build him. I'm not saying again he's OP, but he's interesting to me. Alright, last champion to talk about here, guys, is MORDECAI. Epic Force Support Sacred Order Champion. Looks like he has some sheath or veil over his face here. Purgatory, his A1, attacks one enemy, 30% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 10%, has a 60% instead of the target's under HP burn debuff. That can be booked up 15% extra. On the A2, Time's Undoing, has a 100% chance when booked of decreasing the turn meter of all enemies by 15%. Fills the turn meter of all allies by 15%. Does it? I mean, it's like the little mini energize ability, but it doesn't really excite me that much. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting so spoiled by, you know, all the champions they keep adding to the game that do something like this. Has a 100% chance of placing an HP burn debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Places an increased attack buff on all allies for 3 turns. And that is on a 3-turn cooldown. So increased attack on 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown and HP burn. I think it's a, you know, again, an above average champion, I would say, back like a year ago. But now with power creep, I don't know. Is this a guy that you guys should build? I guess if you need a reliable AoE HP burn placer with an increased attack, then sure. Otherwise, then probably not. All right, they go on to say you might have seen our 3 new champions. They're already being tried and tested by our content creators. I have not. You guys know I don't do the testing. I just don't have time. Having watched the videos, we performed additional testing on the champs, so it became clear that one of the new champions needs adjustment. So when the champion appears in game, his Lion's Roar will have a cooldown of 3 turns when maxed out, and his passive skill will have a turn meter of 15%. That's basically the changes I already told you guys about. I don't know. I'll be honest with you guys, just as a little side tangent here. Again, I haven't signed up for the dev build. I just like doing things. I like experiencing the game as if I'm a player. I stand by my ability to change my mind on that. Like if a lot of you guys really want me to, I'll test out champions and stuff. But for me, the same reason I never open shards on other people's accounts or pull shards, I just like having that experience of everything being my real account. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's really cool that creators do that. They allow creators to kind of play test these champions. However, I'm not sure if they should just be balancing champions only based on a couple opinions of content creators rather than the game designers. And that's with all due respect to content creators who know a lot more than I do about the game, who are making these observations. I'm just saying that, you know, either way, I do think it's a little bit of a bad look to kind of blame content creators on preemptive buffs or nerfs, you know. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I think that he probably would have been OP had it been a 2-turn cooldown. So, my intuition is probably the same. However, with all that said, I do think that, you know, it's a real tough one here, but I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Are you guys cool with it? Are you guys happy? You know, would have been a different story if we had preemptively, or if the content creators had preemptively identified a buff inside the game rather than a nerf inside the game before the champion was even released. Probably, and again, psychologically, that would have been the case. But either way here, guys, it seems like the comments, if you read down, are pretty understanding. People are like, glad you changed the passive to a 2-turn, because a 2-turn cooldown provoke would have made him very OP. Again, like I told you guys, I tend to agree with that as well. And people, and look at this guy says, or this woman, excuse me, says, wow, RIHO BONESPEAR is very great, but I have a question. Which tribe will these champions belong to? Well, it's actually right in, just to answer your question, Nicole. The tribe here, the faction, is right here in Demon Spawn or whatever, listed at the top of the champion's profile. Okay, now I am super rambling here, guys. What do you think of these new champions? Let me know below. And, of course, the big question of the day is, are you going for the fusion? Again, let me know in the comments below, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.